Our next topic is units and dimensions. And a key thing I want to distinguish here is the difference in meaning between the word unit versus the word dimension. So, for example, here in my whiteboard section, I've listed the dimensions of length, mass, and time, which are three dimensions that we're going to be using a lot towards the beginning of this course. We're going to add temperature a little bit later to that list for this course. And then there's a few others listed there on the key constants page we'll look at in a second. But the base units for those in the International System of Units, or the SI system, so for length, it would be the meter. So I'm going to write in meter here. For mass, it would be the kilogram. And maybe I can just abbreviate that with kg because I don't have a lot of space here. So I just put in the abbreviation. Meter would be commonly abbreviated by an M. We'll often be using for that. And for time, the base unit is going to be the second, and the abbreviation for that will be an S. And I get to the edge of my writing pad here, and it gets hard for me to write. So hopefully everyone can be patient with that. In some videos, I don't always write perfectly with the technology that I have here. Anyway, but so meters, kilograms, seconds, sometimes abbreviated as MKS, is commonly the three base units used in mechanics coming from the SI system. On the key concepts page here, we can see though that like in terms of distinguishing dimension versus unit again, dimensions are things like length, time, mass, temperature, electric current, the amount of something. We're thinking about like the number of microscopic things. So the unit actually for that is the mole, but I put that there because that may trigger a memory from a chemistry class perhaps, and luminous intensity. So each of those has different units that you can use for them. The base units here, which kind of the idea behind base units is that the other units that might be out there, you can convert to those from the base units, but the base units have really well established, they recently went through some changes, but they have well established scientific definitions that are based on some defined constants, and then there's also some experimental basis for them. Some of that, again, recently shifted. But again, the most important thing here, I think, is, well, I don't know if it's that important, but I think it's kind of important to understand that the word dimension and unit are different. They are sometimes used interchangeably. I find myself occasionally doing that where I say dimension, maybe I meant unit, because I say like, oh, dimensions of meter. Okay, that's actually units of meter, right? And in chemistry class, you might have done dimensional analysis, and you might have done things like, converting maybe like centimeters cubed to a liter or something like that. But that's really units, right? Maybe it should have been called unit analysis, or I think sometimes it is, but I remember being taught dimensional analysis. But really that word dimensions there is maybe being used somewhat incorrectly. I guess it depends on how strict you want to be about things.